This is the big question. This is the question that everyone's been asking me. Merry Christmas, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be a Q&A about my Appalachian Trail thru-hike attempt for 2021. I asked you guys to ask me questions in the community tab on my YouTube channel. If you did not see that post, it might be because you're not subscribed or you don't have notifications turned on. So go click that button and make those changes if you want to be informed of this in case I do another Q&A in the future. And just a quick disclosure, I'm not answering questions about COVID, the ATC, or the pandemic in general in this video. I don't really feel comfortable putting my opinions out because I have faced a lot of negativity and a lot of people have very different opinions on this. I just want to keep my channel as positive as I can. I may make a video about this in the future if I feel ready, but as of right now, I'm just going to talk about the AT in general and my gear, life on trail, and YouTube, and all that. I have a couple pages worth of questions right now, so I'll answer as many as I can in this video. If it does get too long, I may make a part 2. So getting into the questions right now, the first one is asking if I would make any changes to my 2020 gear list, and I did just put out a video about that with some major changes. And right before I do head out on trail, I will put out a video of my whole gear list, so you will have that to reference. Also, if any lessons were learned from my first attempt, I think the biggest lesson I learned was how much food I need to carry for a certain number of days in between towns, because I did start the trail with a little too much food, and then there were sections of the trail that I got really low on food. So I think I learned how to manage that a little better, and 2021 will be smoother in the food department. How did the Longwear Contacts work out, and will you continue using them for your 2021 thru-hike? So I do have the 30-day contacts in, and they are the brand that you're allowed to sleep in them. Every time I was in town, I cleaned them out with contact solution and slept without the contacts just to give my eyes a break. And that's because the contacts were new and I was doing everything I was supposed to do. But now that I've had these contacts for almost a year, I rarely take them out. I rarely replace them or clean them, and I honestly don't have issues. So I probably don't have the best contact care routine, but I haven't had any issues, and I will continue to do it this way on the next thru-hike. What are your sources of protein, and how often will you spend the money on freeze-dried backpacker meals? So I did last time order bulk backpacker meals off Amazon. It was the lasagna with meat sauce, and I had that meal basically every other night that I was on trail, and they were great. I don't mind splurging on backpacking meals, but at the same time, I honestly really enjoy ramen. So it's probably going to be evenly split between nice meals and ramen or Northsides. Bidet or TP? I use TP and I've never tried a bidet. I don't know if I will, but TP worked well for me. This is the big question. This is the question that everyone's been asking me. Am I starting at the beginning of the trail, so at Springer Mountain, or am I starting where I left off last time at Hot Springs, North Carolina? I am going to start at Springer Mountain. I honestly loved the first 274 miles. I don't mind doing them again, and now that I'm familiar with them, I know exactly where the resupply stops are and where the towns are at, and I'm excited to redo that. And I just really like the idea of doing a full through hike from Springer to Katahdin in one go, and that's just what I personally want to do and what I would think would be a fun through hike. Will you finally start signing the trail logs in the shelters or nah? You're not supposed to show that.
That's like the most mundane entry ever. Why are you embarrassed about that?
I'm never right in these things. Now I never will. Who will you miss the most, your dog or your boyfriend? And I really don't want to answer this question. I'm gonna miss them both. I don't think it's fair to make me choose. What is your number one biggest fear about hiking the AT? I am such a wimp when it comes to darkness and animals. I get really paranoid when I'm in my tent and I hear noises, so I think that's the biggest fear. But realistically, I think my biggest fear is not enjoying myself and getting off trail because I just don't think it's fun. Knowing that you are a pretty fast hiker, how many days do you think it will take? I think between 120 and 130 days. And that's fast. That's quicker than the average time that it takes to thru hike. But I really like pushing myself and I like the challenge. So that's what I'm thinking of. Physical or mental? Looking back and going forward, which will be your toughest opponent and why? So looking back, I don't think either of those really played a role in my thru hike. There was a really small stretch of both of them, maybe like a 5-hour period where my knee really physically hurt, and maybe a 5-hour period where I was mentally a little upset because I felt lonely and I missed home and I didn't really click with the people around me. But both of those lasted such a short amount of time that I don't really think I had any mental or physical problems out there. Looking into next year, I am nervous physically. I don't think I'm training that much, and I do want to push myself, so I know that having a physical injury is very possible, so I am a little worried about that. What was the thing about the trail that surprised you the most? I think I was most surprised about how natural I felt at backpacking, if that makes sense. Like, I just got in such a rhythm, and I thought it would take me like weeks to adjust and like find how to do things with my gear and like how to set up my tent and all that, because prior to that AT attempt, I never did an overnight hike, and I really didn't know what I was doing or if I was even going to enjoy myself out there. So I was surprised about how good I did. I don't know if that makes sense, but I just felt natural being out there, and it surprised me. What's your start date? I'm not going to say the specific date like I did last time, but I will tell you it's earlier in the year than I started in 2020. The next 2 questions are about trail magic. And if you do want to provide trail magic, I saw another YouTuber do this. Email me at nahamshahiker@gmail.com and put trail magic in the subject line. I think that might be the easiest way. And I really appreciate it if you want to come out and help. That's really cool that you're offering that. Will it be on Strava? I think I will eventually find a way to put it on Strava, but I don't want it to be real time because I don't want people to know where I am each day, and I don't want to kill the battery life of my watch having my GPS run all the time. But I do want to eventually put all my stats in there so I can keep my Strava up to date with my yearly mileage and everything. Any special spots along the trail that you are excited to see? Honestly, I'm really excited to see New Hampshire from the AT. And that sounds weird because I'm in New Hampshire right now, but I think I just want to experience the New Hampshire section of the Appalachian Trail as a thru-hiker and not a day hiker. I'm also excited to see like the major spots like McAfee Knob and Harper's Ferry and Katahdin, obviously. There's a lot of cool landmarks that I see pictures of but have never been there myself, so I think that would be really cool. Walking alone or group? I plan to walk alone until I find a group that does similar mileage and that I click with, and then I could hike with them, but I'm not putting any pressure on myself to find a tramily. Are you going to make it to Damascus, Virginia? Well, I am planning on making it the whole way from Springer to Katahdin, so if that does happen, yes, I will make it to Damascus. If you're referring to trail days, I think, no, I'm not really planning on going into trail days. I'm not that interested, but maybe in the future, maybe on a year I'm not through hiking, I could do that. Are there any campsites on the approach trail? I think so. I'm not completely sure, but I'm pretty sure I saw people camping on the approach trail. I did the approach trail in just a couple hours, so I didn't really look for them. Also, will you be tracked by Rambino and send him updates? I think last time I gave him my YouTube channel name, but I didn't specifically send him updates along the way, so I don't really know, but I will add myself to his list. Will you have a new trail name? I don't really have a trail name. Some people call me Nahamsha because that's the name of my YouTube channel, but I just go by Taylor, and until that changes, I don't know. I don't really have an update on that. Besides the actual hiking, tramily dynamic, and getting back into the trail, what are you looking forward to the most? I honestly, at this point, I'm looking forward to a break, like not working, not being stressed about work, and just taking time for myself and hiking. Work's been crazy, so I'm really excited to step back from that a little bit. What kind of impact, if any, did your 2020 attempt have on your pace or mindset of finishing the trail in less than 150 days? If anything, I think my 2020 attempt is even pushing me to go quicker in 2021. So yes, I'm still trying to finish the trail as quick as I can. Who is going to take care of your shop while you're doing the through hike? So I have a couple employees who are more than capable of managing the shop on their own. The shop is kind of in its off season in the spring, so that helps. And my shop's in a new location where it's just a lot more chill. The shop's a little smaller and there's not as many rules that I need to follow like my last location was. So it should run smoothly while I'm off trail. And if anything were to happen, my mom is part owner and she can come in and step up and do whatever needs to be done. Will you be a brand ambassador or have any new sponsors for your 2021 attempt? So in 2020, I was a brand ambassador for Enlightened Equipment. I have not spoken to any brands about being an ambassador in 2021, so that's still up in the air. Also, have you been in touch with any fellow thru-hikers that you hope to hike with? Not really. I think just Frosty, who is doing the AT again in 2021, who I met in 2020, and also someone I work with at Loon Mountain is starting around the same time as me. So I think I went into 2020 knowing a lot more thru-hikers than I am going into 2021. So I guess I'm just going to meet the people while I'm out there. Who would you consider the one past YouTube hiker that influenced you to hike the AT? So I think the first YouTuber that I saw hike the AT, this is totally random, you probably haven't heard of her, but Elise Parker. And I think I found her channel through looking up like recipes or something about food on YouTube. And her video was about food on the Appalachian Trail and it kind of sparked interest. And then after I saw that one video, I watched a lot of Dixie's from Homemade Wanderlust. So I think Dixie had the biggest influence on me to hike the trail. But ever since Dixie, I have found so many other YouTube channels that have influenced me. So it's a lot of people. What are you planning on filming your AT vlogs with? I just got a new phone that I'm filming on right now. It's the Galaxy Note Ultra 20, I think. So I'm going to use that to film everything on the AT, edit right on my phone, post right from my phone. Will you do a final gear video that you will be taking on the trail? Yes, I'm really excited to put that video together. I don't have a final gear list right now, so that will probably come out later in February when I get close to leaving for the trail. So that is all the questions that I was asked on that community tab page. Thank you to everyone who asked me questions, and those are really fun to answer. I might do a part 2 of this video, so make sure you're subscribed and also follow me on Instagram because I might do one of those Q&A Instagram stories and collect questions from there as well. So again, Merry Christmas to everyone, and I will see you in my next video.